Welcome everyone. We're now live on YouTube, and thank you everyone for attending this webinar. This is going to be hopefully one of these kinds of webinars about selling on Amazon. My name is Lev. I'm from Trotec Laser Canada out of Toronto. We have Meredith out of just out of Detroit, out of Plymouth, Michigan. And of course, we have Thaddeus, who is the co-founder of Nozani. And Thaddeus, why don't you just take it away, sort of explain to our viewers who you guys are. And I mean, I'll actually make you the presenter so you can share the screen. And if anybody has any questions, just type them into the chat and I'll sort of interrupt Thad and ask. So you're the presenter now, Thad, take it away.
Okay. Should be able to see my screen now. Hello, everyone. Nice to meet you all. Like Lev was saying, I am Thaddeus. I am here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Beautiful place. We're like 80 degrees right now. It's kind of a nice place out here. And I'm with Nozani. So I'm a co-founder there, like you said. About a year and a half ago, we started. We are primarily an Amazon-focused marketing and consultant company. So we work with brands and people selling products. We work with our customers all around the world to help them improve their presence on online platforms, and particularly on Amazon because it is the largest in the world. Currently, Amazon has more than twice the searches of every other platform combined per month. So it's seriously the biggest, it's seriously the focus of the e-commerce industry. So I'll go ahead and present this.
And I just want to mention, we both have Canadians and Americans on this webinar. So, I mean, this is a great fit for us to sort of do a joint webinar with our American and Canadian colleagues. So some of the stuff we'll be talking about is for U.S. Versus Canada. I think you'll talk about Amazon customs primarily, but if you have any questions specific to Canada or specific to the U.S., just let us know as well.
Fantastic, and just for you guys' sake, my family's actually Canadian, and I was born in America, so I get the best of both worlds. Spent some time living in Vancouver, and also spent a lot of time in Calgary. So I do love Canadians. I'm grateful for all you Canadians out there as well. So who we are, Nozani, like I said, is an Amazon-focused marketing company. Typically, our clients are increasing revenue about 200%. And it's not that we have some secret sauce. It's simply that Amazon has an algorithm. And by understanding the algorithm and following the correct processes and procedures, everyone that has a legitimate product will see sales and increases in sales on the Amazon platform. I want to briefly start by just breaking down Amazon, what it takes to set up an account, what it costs, and just the basics of starting up. From what Lev was saying, a lot of you are probably kind of new to Amazon or maybe haven't started on Amazon yet. So we're going to have a really basic rundown of what Amazon is. I'll walk you through a Seller Central account and so forth. But to start, how to set up an account. It's incredibly easy to set up an account. And this goes for America or the USA or Canada. And quite frankly, Canadians can sell on the Amazon US, Amazon.com really easily. It's not a hassle. The biggest focus would just be on the logistics of getting your product shipped. And I would just work with a freight forwarder or some sort of fulfillment center to manage that. Now, as far as the fees go, to start out, it's $39 a month to have a professional selling account on Amazon. Amazon takes a base commission of around 15%. It's dependent on each category. So depending on the category of goods you're selling, you'll get charged potentially a lower commission, potentially just a little bit higher. And what that covers is just the ability to sell on the platform. That gives you a Seller Central account. That gives you everything there. Amazon will take care of a lot of the customer service and things like that for you. But that's a basic account. Now, when you're setting up an account, all you're going to need is a business name and address, a mobile telephone number, a credit card, and your tax information. And this can be Canadian or American, doesn't matter. You can set it up, and Amazon is really what's the word? They work with everyone in North America very well. So if you sell in the US, you can actually carry over your account and your reviews all the way over to Canada and to Mexico, and it acts almost as one giant account. So that's why I'm going to use Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, Amazon.mx. It's very interchangeable in this sense. And so these are the first things that you would need to start an Amazon account, and that's a basic account. Now, the next thing I want to go into, what's above a basic account, and that's what we call an FBA account. That is a little bit more expensive on the commission. It's the same amount per month. FBA stands for Fulfilled by Amazon. What that means is that Amazon will pick, pack, and ship your orders. You simply send it into a warehouse that they will tell you. They will tell you which warehouse to send it into. Amazon then ships it. Amazon manages the customer service. Amazon does everything, and they guarantee you the shipment within 2 days, and that's where you get the Amazon Prime tag. So in order to be Amazon Prime, you do need to be Amazon FBA. Now, where would this be better than the basic account? The basic account is good for anyone that sells 1s, 2s, 3s products. You don't have a huge stock, right? And so if you don't have a lot of stock in your warehouse or wherever you're storing, or maybe you're selling very custom products, obviously this will need to be shipped by you. And that fits really well into the Amazon basic account. Fulfilled by Amazon is great for anyone that has any sort of stock. If you're consistently selling the same type of product, you don't need to change it. I would highly recommend using FBA. In the end, it'll be maybe slightly more expensive, but probably about the same price, if not cheaper. And you will sell far more units if you have that Prime tag. Customers like that.
Sorry, just to interrupt. So, I mean, in the case of our laser customers, I mean, in this potential, even if you're not having a full stock like of items that you're selling, I mean, this selling on Amazon could be a potential to expand your product line in offering ready-made products that you're sort of have even like a little bit of stock, right? I mean, if you have 5 or 10 in the beginning, you want to start selling, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You can test it with any amount, and actually, there's a fantastic setting within Amazon that you can set it to be Amazon Prime FBA, and then if you run out of that inventory, it just converts the listing to the basic account, and the commission goes back to that 15%. You have to ship it, and so you don't lose your rank, you don't lose any problem, you don't have any problems like that. So I would recommend, if at all possible, try to be Amazon Prime. You will find more success. So I wanted to just show you the inside of an Amazon account. This is Nozani's account. We just test products on here. It's not really like an active selling account. So there are not a ton of sales, but it's the account I have permission to share with you. So if this is the first page, the home page of an Amazon selling account. Right here on the right-hand side, this is everyone's favorite part. It's the sales summary. So this goes over how many products you sold today, 7 days, 15 days, 30 days. Here is an Amazon selling coach. Goes over some information on just ways you can improve. It's helpful, but honestly, I mean, I wouldn't pay too much attention to it. It's helpful to a point. Over here, you see inventory planning. So we have all of our products in the Amazon warehouse. Right now, this is coconut oil that we're just testing out. We had a small shipment just sent in, and we're just testing that. So this shows days in inventory, SKUs to restock today, excess units, SKUs with stranded inventory. This is important if you're using FBA. On the left-hand side, this is also very important. Amazon has what's called an account health standard. They are looking for you to make sure that you are appeasing their customers, because in Amazon's mind, the seller on Amazon is not their customer. The customer is the end buyer, and Amazon, as everyone knows, is so customer centric. They want to make sure that every seller is making the customer as happy as possible. So here it's going to show all the orders, all the things here that have been fulfilled by Amazon, that have been fulfilled by you, order request, premium unshipped, whatever it may be. Then this is important. This is where you track your buyer messages, your guaranteed complaints. claims, your chargeback claims, and your customer feedback. And then right here has a direct link to your account health. This is going to be important to make sure that you're always on top of orders. You're not sending out defective products, and that things are exactly as they appear in the listing, or else this will flag you and you will not be able to sell on Amazon. Getting an Amazon seller account is incredibly simple. Maintaining that account and increasing sales is where it's very challenging. And you need to make sure that you're on top of everything, because Amazon is a stickler and they're very strict with all of their rules. So, Lev, is there any questions from the group about that first initial stuff?
Yeah, go ahead, Meredith. Sorry.
I'd be curious. So, what happens if they have a return they have to process? And they're using Amazon fulfillment? Does their customer send it back to Amazon, and then how do they get notified? What is the intricacy of that process?
That's not actually as intricate as you would think. It does get sent back to Amazon, and if it's possible to resell, you can actually have it sent back to you. You can take it back, you can check it, is it still good, and then you can resell it. Let's say, like for instance, we have a coconut oil bottle that was broken during the shipment. The customer obviously returned it, and we're not going to try to resell it. So it's not really a big deal. Amazon just deals with that. They throw it away. Now let's say we have a coconut oil bottle that's sent back, and it's completely clean. They just changed their mind. Then we can get that sent back to us and then resell it later. So it's very simple, and that's all here in the reports. So I wouldn't, it's Amazon. Using Amazon FBA just simplifies the whole process.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions?
No questions yet. I mean, do you know, in terms of the Amazon warehouses, like if they're remotely somewhere in, let's say in Canada, like somewhere in Quebec or whatever, how does it work in terms of warehouses? I mean, is there a limit to how close they are? Is there a guarantee? Like there's a 2-day shipment guarantee? How does that stuff work?
So Amazon strategically placed warehouses around the world that allow them to have 2-day shipping to just about anywhere, especially in North America. So, for instance, there's one in Las Vegas. They're building one in Utah. There's one in California. There's several in California. There's some all along the East Coast in Texas and Denver. And so they have warehouses all around. And based on their algorithm, they'll tell you, hey, we need you to ship 3 units here, 5 units there, 7 units here, 10 units there. Or maybe sometimes they'll say, hey, we need you to ship all of your units to this warehouse, and then we'll divide it up. And the same thing goes for Canada. So Amazon just will divide that up based on their algorithm.
And we actually do have a question from somebody. Is selling something custom applicable here? Like each item is different for every customer?
Yes, and that's the next thing I want to go into, actually.
Oh, perfect.
So,
good segue.
Amazon Custom. So this is one of our clients that we've been working with recently. Amazon Custom is a new platform. They're trying to compete with Etsy, and they're encouraging people like the people here on the webinar that are creating custom anything to start selling on Amazon. It's a new platform, so the sales are not the same as a traditional Amazon product. However, as the awareness grows, it's going to be amazing. And I always say the best time to be on Amazon, to have gotten on Amazon, was 10 years ago, and the next best time is now. This Amazon Custom thing is essentially like getting on Amazon, 5 or 6 years ago, when it was just still warming up to the market. And so it's important that even if you're not selling a ton, I would recommend really seriously considering getting on Amazon. So I'll show you an example listing here. This is one of our customers. They're called NagTag, and they do a variety of things, but this is one of their brand new products that we've just uploaded, and all of their things are custom. So for instance, this is a custom cutting board, and the way it's set up is you come here, you go to buy the product, and you click customize now. Instead of saying buy now, you click customize now. So we'll walk you through this process. All of this is set up in the back end of Amazon. And so this part does get a little bit more confusing. A lot of people come to us to help them set this part up. You can do it on your own if you pay attention to detail and you make sure you do it right, or we'd be happy to help. So I'll walk you through some things that are important. So here you go. So choose your design. So we choose the butcher, however you say that. And here you would enter your last name. So I'll just put mine, my first name, and then enter the date. And then you can put any special instructions here. This is then added to your cart with these specifics, and then sent to the seller. In this case, NagTag. So NagTag gets that order. They can go through and create that product and ship it out directly from their warehouse. They're actually based here in Utah.
Thad, just a quick question. From one of our viewers, does the warehouse charge you a fee to store your items, especially if your items sit on the shelf for a little while?
Great question. So we'll go back to this. That fee is included in that additional 15% commission. If your products are there for longer than 6 months, they will add on a fee. Now it's not a terribly high amount, but there is a fee nonetheless. So I would encourage you to never send in more inventory than you can sell in 6 months.
Okay, we have a couple of more. Can you create a single listing for both US, Canada, Mexico, or do you create 3 listings? How are customers' fees handled? Oh, sorry, how are customs fees handled?
Great question. So customs fees, that's on the seller, the business. So you're gonna have to work that through with your freight forwarder. And if you're shipping FBA, it's still the same. Because it will be stored in a Canada warehouse or a United States warehouse. The listing can be almost identical. In Mexico, you're going to want to adapt it to Spanish. It will need to be 3 separate listings. So let me show here. So here we come here, and I can click Amazon.Canada, Amazon.mx right here in my account. That's just a standard account you sign up for. We don't have any active products right now in Amazon Canada, so it shows up with nothing. If we go to here to inventory or catalog, add products, we can add a product pretty easily, and just like you did in the United States, but it does need to be a separate listing. In Canada and the US, you can probably use the exact same content, the exact same pictures, exact same everything. Mexico would obviously have to be different.
Perfect.
But the reviews do carry over. So if I have 5 reviews here, I'll have 5 reviews in Canada, 5 reviews in Mexico.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, perfect. We actually have 2 questions about that cutting board. Well, it's basically the same question. Does the customer get to see the customization right when they, when you had that cutting board and you put in your name? Will they get to see it right on the screen or no?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not sure right now, no. There may be things that are changing where Amazon will allow that to be more custom, or there may be some more in-depth things that you can do. But to my knowledge, no. In this listing, we didn't allow that.
Yeah, guys, I just want to mention that, I mean, Amazon Custom is only in the US for now, and it's very, very new. So we are hoping that it'll be available in Canada soon. But I've discussed it with Thaddeus. I mean, you can sell the custom products from Canada through the US site, correct?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And then there's also another question. Is there a maximum number of products that we can send Amazon at one time?
At first, I wouldn't say there's a maximum. If you are having problems with too much inventory sitting there, they will start saying, hey, we're going to charge you additionally if you leave that inventory there, or you're limited to a certain space. But at first, no, there's not.
Do you know roughly, I mean, how long it will take until Amazon starts saying, well, it's sitting too long on the shelf? I mean, is it a year? Is it 6 months?
I would look at that 6 month. Yeah, 6 month mark.
Okay, perfect. No questions for now.
Okay, fantastic. So the next thing I want to go through is, okay, so now you have a listing set up, or you're on Amazon. How do you really succeed within Amazon? And this is very important as we try to grow the account. If you'll look here, you can see There's great photography on the left-hand side, great content, a lot of content. The title is done in a certain way. All of this is strategically created to match Amazon's algorithm. So Amazon's algorithm is based around two things: consistency in sales, consistency in reviews. They want to see that you are consistently generating sales for a certain keyword and consistently generating positive reviews. And to them, that means that you are consistently pleasing the customer. And that's the most important thing to them. So things we talked about: conversion and traffic or searchability. If you want sales, those are the things that you need. So what we play with, the first thing to focus on is photos, okay? Now with Amazon being so heavily used on a mobile app and on mobile devices, photography has become seriously the most important aspect of a listing, because people are looking on their phone and the first thing they see is photography, and they're buying it from looking at the photography alone. So what we do is we go in and we typically want to create 2 to 3 white background, high quality images that allow the customer to zoom in, see details, and so forth. Then you want 2 to 3 infographics that show sizing, that help the customer know exactly what they're getting. Once again, these are zoomable as well, but they're easy to read without having to zoom in. Second thing,
can I interrupt for 1 second? For those
Absolutely.
of you who are anxious about the photography component, you don't have to necessarily be a design genius or have a lot of graphic skills. You can buy a 16 by 16 light box, photography light box, for less than $40, which will let you have that white background without doing any graphic work.
Absolutely. Well, and most of us have iPhone 7, 8, X's, whatever. Those phones are incredible. And I think to start out, I would not spend a whole lot of money on your photography. Obviously, if you have an investment and you're willing to make it, go for it. But if you're just starting out, don't waste all your money on the photography. And just make sure that it is clean, that it looks professional, because it is very important when selling on Amazon. The next thing to consider is another thing that shows the usefulness and the key features of the product. This one says, hey, a gift for every occasion. According to our research, people want gifts for certain occasions. And here we're just proving the fact that it fits that. And then we finish with another lifestyle photo. And these are all strategically created based on some research we do with a tool called Merchant Words. Merchant Words is an external, it's a third-party tool that's actually pretty cheap. I believe it's like $49 a month. And it allows you to go into Amazon and understand what people are searching for based on your product. So if you want to type in custom cutting board, it shows you all the different keywords that people are using to search for that product. And using that information, you can understand what people want to see in your content and in your photography.
Thad, just a quick thing. I mean, some Amazon products, I've seen it on Amazon lots of times. They have a video of their product. Does that make any difference for the products themselves that you're selling, or does Amazon rank you higher if you have a video?
Not necessarily for rank. It would definitely help with conversion. Its video is only allowed to some people. It's still with an invite only. So I would not count on getting a video when you're first starting on Amazon.
Oh, that's good to know. Also, somebody mentioned there's also clipping path services that create cutout images.
Yes, and that's like 99 cents or something, even cheaper.
Yep.
Do you know where people can get them? Would they Google them, or?
I think Clipping Path may be a company name or something, but if you were to Google, image editing, overseas image editing, whatever it may be, you can find a lot of people in India, the Philippines, that would be fantastic. And a lot of people that are just starting out use platforms like Fiverr or Upwork to generate all of this initial like creative content and brand assets. It's very cheap, and it's primarily freelancers in India, the Philippines, and Asia that will work for you on that, and they pretty much do it. They usually do a pretty good job.
Yeah, and I guess they can find them on sites like elance.com as well.
Yeah, exactly.
There's also a question, does Amazon custom show products on the main site?
Yes, absolutely. And we can, so if we were to come here, you can see that this is in the home and kitchen category. This was pulled up. So it's directly there on the main site. But if somebody wanted to search specifically for Amazon Custom, they can as well. So if I go, let's see. We'll just search like custom. Sorry, my internet's pretty slow.
Like custom cutting board or.
Yeah. Let me show you. So this shows up here right on the main site. And if you typed in cutting board, you can also rank for that keyword as you grow. And so it's pretty nice because the whole Amazon is really trying to incorporate Amazon Custom. Originally, it started probably just over a year ago, and it was very separate. Now they're trying to incorporate it a little bit more, make it just a better product and a better tool for people selling custom products. So the last thing we'll touch on here with the algorithm is when you're writing the content, it's important to write the content with those keywords in mind. Those same keywords that you use to develop the pictures should be incorporated into the title and into the content. We actually have some blog articles on our website, nozani.com, that go into detail about how to write effective content. And so feel free to check that out. It's a great resource, and it will help you really succeed there.
And we'll post a link to the blog in the video description after we're done. So if anybody wants to click on it, we'll add it there.
Also, when we send out a follow-up, we will actually go through the Amazon Customs ordering process here, and we will then report that back to anyone who's interested about what the experience was like, just so you can have an idea of what the customer would experience from Amazon Customs.
Awesome.
Perfect.
I want to show you a couple more examples, and then I'll show you a bad example of a listing, just so it can make sense. So this is another example from one of our customers. They do these personal name wedges. Once again, it's the same concept, certain amount of photos. The content is once again written strategically. This one has a lot of variations of the same product. And that's actually a really good thing for Amazon. They like that. It's a positive thing within the algorithm. And so this one, same idea as before, customize now, and it sends you here. Enter your text, and you just say, this one does allow you to see the.
Oh, great.
We'll just say, writer, whatever that is. So right there. This one does allow you. Some of them do, I guess. So that's one example. Let me show you a bad example. This is one of our old customers. We did a lot on their brand, but we didn't finish all of their products, optimizing the content and so forth. So they do have some very optimized products, but this is an example of a non-optimized product within Amazon. You have one picture on the left, and the content here is very limited. Everything here is just it's very limited. I tell people if you do this on Amazon, it's basically like you go to a buffet and you eat salad. Right, you're missing out on everything good, on all the opportunities, unless you like salad, of course. But we're imagining that you don't like salad, and that's what you get. So it's important that you use everything within Amazon to your advantage, and only having one image and limited content will not do that. And so that just goes in. I'm just going to do a quick recap of everything we've talked about as far as
sorry to interrupt you. Just had a question. Is it beneficial for customers to have a their own web store parallel to Amazon? Like, does it help them with Amazon, or I mean, it doesn't matter in this case if they already have a web store that they're selling their products on?
Yeah, it's great to have a web store, actually.
Oh, really? Okay.
That's not a problem at all, because the reality is, keep your web store up. You're going to have a higher profit margin selling from your web store because you don't have to pay that commission to Amazon. But Amazon will forever have more search volume, have a higher search volume than your website. And so as things grow on Amazon, I would encourage you to invest in Amazon early, gain a presence, gain a start there, and start growing your sales. And you'll see that grow organically in the future as well if you invest right.
Does it have the same, I guess, SEO feature of Google? Like if you have a site that's been around for 10 years, does it give you better rankings if you had an Amazon account for 10 years?
Oh, absolutely.
It does.
Amazon loves history, and they love good data. So if you have a site for 10 years and you've been selling consistently, and let's say your sales have consistently grown over the last 10 years, absolutely your rank is going to be better within them.
I have a question before you do the recap. So from a time management standpoint, for a novice setting this up for the first time, what kind of time investment would they be looking at?
For a complete setup, if you're working 40 hours a week, you could probably do it in a week and get things pretty set up pretty well. I would say 1 to 2 weeks. If you work less than that, it'd just be broken out. The setup is definitely the most time-intensive aspect of it. After the setup, the things that you need to do is just monitor those orders, monitor your advertising within the platform, and make sure that you continue to live by the terms of service that Amazon provides. And so that's like a 5 to 6 hour a week ordeal. But that initial setup is a little bit more time-intensive.
But that seems fairly manageable, 40 hours then to get this type of exposure for your business. I think that's pretty reasonable.
I would absolutely agree. And I think depending on things, I mean, you need to make sure that when you're doing it, pay attention to detail. If you just go quick and you throw things up and you do it wrong, it's going to negatively affect your rank on Amazon and potentially cause you to be suspended or have a pause in selling in the future. So pay attention to detail, follow the directions, and if you have questions, call Amazon, call someone like us here at Nozani. Make sure that you do it right, and then it will be simple moving forward.
Thank you.
Thad, we got another couple questions from the floor. Who pays for returns if going with a standard account?
Going with the standard account, that would be all on the seller. As far as it would be returned, Amazon would manage that. So you're saying, okay, let me back up for a second. You're saying it's shipped from the seller's warehouse?
Well, let's do both then. I mean, if it's a fulfillment by Amazon or fulfillment by user, who pays for the return on both cases?
So if it's shipped from the seller's warehouse, then obviously you would want it shipped back to the seller's warehouse. That would be most likely on the seller, unless it was, maybe the customer just changes their mind or something like that, then Amazon would charge them a return fee. And then as far as FBA, Amazon manages all the returns. They will take some money back from you once that product has been returned. And so but Amazon manages all of that. You don't have to worry about that.
Awesome. We have another question. They said, I heard about each product code has to have a universal product code. What do you know about that? Thanks.
Yes. Each one does have to have a UPC code. It's actually fairly cheap to get UPC codes, and it's pretty simple to have everything put on. But yeah.
Is it a UPC code for that category? So let's say if we're engraving cutting boards. Or even if we're creating clocks out of pieces of wood with laser, is it for each clock we have a UPC code, or just for that product category?
Just for that product category. So yeah, you don't have to have, you don't need thousands and thousands of UPC codes for every time you sell a product. but it is important to have. It's one UPC code per category.
And where would they be getting these UPC codes?
There's a lot of sites, Snap UPC. Just type in UPC on Google, and you'll see them for sale there.
Awesome, perfect.
Great question.
So then, just as a final recap of everything we've talked about with the algorithm, listing optimization is very important to succeed within Amazon. And that listing optimization includes the content, all your market research and keywords, and the media. Make sure that you're paying attention to these things and that you're doing adequate research to understand what types of product content, what types of media that you need to have. The next thing is to remember that mobile shopping is a big deal. People are using their cell phone to buy products on Amazon. So make sure that your content, the photography is targeted towards that customer that wants to purchase based on the photography alone. So make sure that photography, just a second emphasis on that photography, make sure it's up to par, and it can show the customer why your product is worth buying. The next thing to consider, the management of your product, and this we just talked about, the setup of your account, the account health, making sure that the products are following Amazon's terms of service. If you're able to manage that, make sure that you're replying to customer concerns, that you're managing that customer relationship, then you will continue to see an increase in sales. Some of this is a little bit more in depth, and we can go into it in another webinar later on. But for the most part, that's what I want you to remember from this is focus on the account health. Make sure you're following Amazon's terms of service, and things will be good. The next thing to recap, reviews. Reviews are very important, and as you can remember from that first slide, it's part of what Amazon bases their algorithm on. And so ways to gain more reviews, consider putting like a business card insert with every one of your products, and that gives the customer your direct email address and instructions on how to leave a review on your product. Consider finding a way that your customer, if they have a negative experience, can contact you directly. That way you can mitigate the bad reviews and allow them to know how to leave a positive review. That's huge. If you have an email base, consider sending an email out to your customers saying, hey, we're live on Amazon. Please go and support us. It would be very beneficial for us to get a review. And then the last thing to consider from here is verified versus unverified reviews. Verified reviews are customers that have purchased the product, used the product, and had a good experience from Amazon. They can leave a verified review. An unverified review is somebody that maybe they've used your product before, but they didn't purchase it on Amazon. They can go to Amazon, leave an unverified review, and it does affect conversion. It does not affect the rank in the algorithm. So verified affects the algorithm, unverified does not. Go ahead.
Thad, what are your thoughts about offering a discount for reviews?
That's actually against Amazon's terms of service.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
you can't buy reviews, correct?
Definitely not. And I would run away from anything like that. Recently, Amazon just put a huge crackdown and shut down thousands of accounts that were incentivizing reviews.
Thad, we got a couple questions. The last slide mentions EBC. What is that?
So EBC is enhanced brand content. So if you are a legitimate brand and you have a trademarked name, Amazon then treats you as a legitimate brand within their platform, and they allow you to have other features within a product. So, for instance, let's see, one of our clients is the Purple Mattress. And let's see, I don't want to click on this one because it's sponsored. So here, this is enhanced brand content. So down below the listing, it just shows, some additional information. It highlights things. It allows you to talk more about your product and your brand. That's only available to people that are brand registered within Amazon because they have a trademark name and a legitimate business. This is what happens to everyone that's just a standard company that is not brand registered within Amazon. They get just a standard product description space right here.
Mm-hmm. We have another question. Can you link to your own website in the product description?
Definitely not. Amazon does not want to drive any traffic from their site to anyone else's site.
Okay. We have another question. What if lead time takes 3 weeks? Would that fall into Amazon's guidelines?
Yes, as long as it is, as long as the customer's aware.
Mm-hmm.
That's just fine. Any other questions?
No, not for now.
Okay, awesome. Then one additional thing I'll touch on is just the strategy within Amazon. And then this, I believe, is the last slide. So Amazon provides an advertising platform within the system, within their platform. And the goal is to use this to drive up your rank, to drive up your sales. And it's amazing because all of the paid sales also increase your organic rank. So it is important to spend some money here. I would recommend spending, if you want to just test things out, spend anywhere from $5 to $20 a day just to test things out. You can start gaining some traffic, gaining some traction here. And sometimes you'll spend all of your budget, sometimes you won't. But it's important to test this Amazon PPC out. And that when you log into the system, let's see if I still have it pulled up. So if we go to advertising, let's go back to our Amazon.com and we go to advertising and campaign manager. Here you can create campaigns and manage them as well. So here is the reporting tool. So you can see in our lifetime, we'll just go last week. We spent $180 and got $200 in sales. And because our products are new on Amazon, we're okay with that because we're just testing things out. Typically, I would say you want to spend under $100 to get $200 in sales. Right here shows how much of it's 90% of your sales revenue was spent to get that revenue. And you want to keep that definitely under 50, but probably somewhere between 15 and 35%. But you can see there's a variety of campaigns down here that we're running. There's an auto campaign that Amazon generates. And if you create campaign, you can click the types of campaigns that you want, and you can go automatic targeting. Save time, and Amazon will target it for you based on the product. And that's a good way to start. Put a couple dollars a day towards that. As you learn, as you grow, this automatic targeting campaign will actually shoot back data that you can apply into a manual targeting campaign. We can talk about this more in another webinar. It does get pretty in depth, but I would suggest testing this out. Run some money there, and you'll be surprised at what you're able to bring back. The last thing I would consider in driving traffic and increasing your revenue on Amazon, consider using social media, running Facebook ads, using influencers, or even just having a social media account will be a big deal. Sharing it with your friends and family, and letting them share it with their friends and family and their connections. I would say between social and Amazon advertising, you can really grow an account on Amazon and provide a good source of revenue for your business.
So it sounds to me like, sorry, I think this is fairly exciting, because if you do Amazon fulfillment for $39 a month and then invest $20 a day on advertising for pay-per-click, you can be up and running for less than $200.
Yeah. That was tying into my question. So, I mean, in your experience, like if our customers, they purchase a laser machine, they want to start a business, we had a whole different webinar about how important it is to have your own website and selling on Google, or at least promoting on Google. I mean, in your experience, is it easier and more beneficial to go with? I know you're obviously biased in this case, but I mean, is it better if you're a new business to start with Amazon or go with trying to sell on Google or through your website on Google?
Good question. I would say for traditional products that have inventory, I would always go with Amazon. I would say Amazon is the quickest, the easiest, and the cheapest way to scale any type of business that has inventory that's a standard business. For custom businesses, I'm less confident that Amazon is the way to start, and I would not focus 100% of your time and effort on Amazon. I would still seriously consider things like Etsy, your own website, and potentially selling on like Facebook and things like that. But Amazon in both instances should be a focus. I would say one being more of a focus and more of a priority, and the other being less of a priority.
Yeah, a lot of our customers, they do a lot of customs, like completely custom stuff, like if they're home engravers or something like that. So this could be a great opportunity for you guys to branch out and go into creating specific products that you can sell with the laser machine, and not just doing laser services and engraving stuff. So it's definitely a good avenue to consider.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say in all cases, seriously consider Amazon. It's the largest platform in the world, and it's only going to improve.
And that was my next question. I mean, in your experience, Amazon versus its competitors, kind of like AliExpress. I mean, what do you find? What's better in your experience?
Selling on Amazon, I would say that Amazon does not care particularly about the seller as much as they do the customer. So in that regard, it is rough. You need to make sure you follow their rules, or they're just going to shut you down. Whereas other platforms maybe have more patience, but Amazon, because it's so large, is strict with their rules. But I will say that the sales volume is far more capable. You are far more capable of reaching a higher sales volume on Amazon than any other platform. And we help our customers across lots of platforms. And so I can say that with a surety. Amazon is the best platform to generate sales right now in the world.
Okay.
So I'd just like to make the comment that if those of you who have stayed on for the entire presentation are interested in doing a deeper dive or talking as a group to a bigger extent, or would like some feedback when we test the Amazon customs here to see what the customer experience is like, please respond to the survey that we send out after the webinar.
Yeah, and for all those in Canada, if you said yes, that you want Nazani to reach out to you guys, we'll forward that information to Nazani, and Nazani rep will be in touch. But if you said no and then you change your mind, if you want to reach out to them, we'll have their information in the description of the video, and we'll post it on our channel and on the Trotec USA channel as well.
Correct.
Is there anything else, Thad, that we didn't go through?
I think honestly that's probably a good basic understanding of Amazon. Like I said, go check out our blog if you want to learn more about any of the in particular categories. And
then I think we're good to go. So I'll have you stop presenting. Okay. I think we're good to go. So hopefully we'll have more of these webinars, maybe more specific to Trotec customers, with more specific tips for Amazon selling. But we definitely, Thad, if you want to stop your screen sharing so they can see you. So if you guys have any questions after this webinar, you can post it in the YouTube description below of the video. And we want to thank again our special guest, Thaddeus from Nazani. Anything else you guys want to add?
Yeah, thank you, Thad. And everyone look forward to more North American collaborations.
Yes, definitely.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys. Thanks very much. Thanks for joining.
Have a great day.
You too. Take care.